Alright guys, today we're finally going to be trying to actually put this handbrake in. I know it's been a long time coming, but it's just like a really difficult process because there's no dual caliper brackets, which is the way I would want to do it. So you have your own dedicated braking system for the Hydro. So the only real way to do it is to run it inline, and I couldn't find the right fittings to do it in a reversible way, tapping off of the master cylinder, because it's a really weird fitting that goes to the master cylinder and then it goes into the ABS pump, which makes things complicated. So we are going to run it inline. We're going to splice into the brake lines. We have all this stuff, but first I'm going to insert some footage here to show you guys the process of making the actual handbrake itself. Ta-da! After a full day's work, this is what we've come up with. Super solid, like you can see. But it's time to mount it in the car, and then all that will be left to do next will be plumbing it like another day because it's already late. All right, so now that you guys are up to speed with the nightmare that this was, even though it wasn't that bad, but it was like, I don't know, just one of those things where it was annoying. And we changed the plan 6 different times. I think Matt's here. Yeah, Matt's here too. There's Matt. We've got these T's because there's 2 brake lines running to the back. It's not like an S chassis where there's just one and you tap in and out. It's 2, so we've got to take 2, bring them down to 1, go into the master of the Hydro, and then go out and back into 2, back to the wheels. Hey, Matt's here. Whoa. Whoa. Rental tool that you ended up owning?
Not yet.
Oh.
I don't give it back in like 30 days.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just one of those where you never gave it back. All right. So the interesting thing here is where is it? Oh, there it is. So as you can see, the brake lines have already been cut in union at one point. Okay, I'm fairly certain that's not factory. Maybe it is. I don't know. It just doesn't, like, the fit's not right, so I don't think it's factory. So that'll make our lives easier. We won't have to cut it. We'll just have to take those off. Hopefully those are standard thread fittings and we'd be golden. This would be a real easy job. So we're gonna try to take them apart and see. Wow, that was easy as shit. There's no brake fluid coming out of here. Can you pass me that T, the bronze one? Oh my lord, dude. This is gonna be so easy. That's amazing. They're literally the exact right size.
Unbridled enthusiasm. I like it.
Dude, that's so wild.
Unabated excitement. Where's your tire shop?
I can't believe this. The fittings that are already on here are the exact size I was gonna have to cut and flare and put on there. So then now all we have to do is just put a T in, not this T, a different T, and then run the lines from the Hydro here and back. So it literally saves so much time. I don't know. I wish, it's funny, I was going to do this the right way, and this is like the easy, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do more work, I guess. All right, so basically what we need to do now is, it's bubble flare here, but this is the standard thread. The metric thread over here is regular flare, But the metric thread line I have is bubble flare. So we gotta take the metric fitting, put it on a regular flare line, take the regular fitting, put it on the bubble flare line. Then we'll have our 2 lines here. We have our T's. So basically the brake lines coming from the front will go in here and then through to the master and then back out to the back brake so it can flow through, and then when we pull the hydro can send brake pressure back to the thing. You have an electric impact, don't you?
Yeah.
They're so amazing.
I love it. It's probably like the best tool
Yeah, absolutely.
to date, I think.
Oh Jesus! Got a little hair there. Well, there's my GoPro mount that my collecting head ripped off.
It's not even an iPhone, it's fucking Pixel. Oh, I meant to plug it in about an hour ago and then did.
Alright, so the hydro, I'll just put it in like this for testing and line running purposes. I should vacuum this out while I have it open. So we are talking about Bitcoin investing right now. Me and Matt are throwing a lot of money in Ripple. And when I say a lot, I mean a couple $100, but it's a lot for me. Matt has the T's connected. He's the brake line bending master, so I left him to it. So this T is the lines coming from the master. This is going to go back out, go up to the master on the hydro, and the hydro is going to come back here and connect into these, which are the lines that go over to the brakes themselves. If you, like I said before, if you had one line, this would be way easier. You would literally just go into and out of the master. Because I have two, it makes it a little more complicated, and they're already cut in whatever here, so that's why we're doing it here. So now we need to cut up some lines. It's gonna also cut the line because he's the expert of this. That's what I tell people when I don't want to do stuff.
I've done it once and I'm automatically the expert now.
Absolutely. Wait, don't cut. Is that a flare, regular flare?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, you can cut that one.
Make sure. You want to double check just to make sure?
Yeah, no, I was just making sure it was regular flare on that end and not bubble flare. It's the same on both sides. That's all I needed to make sure. Yeah, you're good. So we're good.
All right.
Because we only need bubble flare on one end. So we need to cut that bubble flare off, take the fittings off, cut that flare off, take those fittings off, switch them, and then we'll have to reflare each end once we figure out length. So expert Matt, he has a degree in brake line cutting. Walk us through what you're doing here, Matt.
So tightening this slowly so it's a blade that rotates around. So I just rotate the cutter around the piece, then tighten it slightly, and then continue going around the brake line until it feels loose. Tighten a little bit and keep going until it breaks, because if you tighten it too much, you'll kink the brake line, which you don't want to do. That's camera drop.
I tried to point it up at you and I let it loose too soon. I just realized I have done this before. I need to find my cutting tool because I have one somewhere. Oh,
I just can't wait to read the comments and be like,
that's not how you do it. You're supposed to tighten back off so that the shavings can come out. Because if you don't, the shavings will stay stuck in there and it'll melt together and you'll die and you'll have no brakes. And it's not only your life you're endangering, it's other people's lives. You need to have some respect.
I feel like you've had this comment before.
Dude,
it is very detailed.
Literally, welded the D-rings on Marco's trailer instead of welding them where they would flip up and down, forward and back. Welded them where they'd flip up and down, left and right. And people are like, it's going to break off and his car's going to go flying into traffic and kill everybody. It's a car that's in park that's just ratchet strapped snug. Like, get the hell out of here.
The other one just off this?
Yeah, so just same thing. Cut one end off that. These two need off.
Whoa, that was confusing. I like saw this and I went to pick it up. I was like, how did I cut the short one? I was like, I was home the long one.
I hate when I do that. I hate doing stuff like this because I'm like, did I mess it up? I messed it up. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Alright, so we cut off one end of each of these so that we could switch the fittings betwixt them. I like saying that word. Because like, I've said this like 18 times already. So now we just need to put them in, bend them up to where they need to go, and then figure out how long they need to be. Cut them if we have to, and then reflare the ends. And they both need to be regular flare, so it's super easy. We just need a bubble flare on one end for the hydro. Right, Matt?
Right.
This is going so much better than I anticipated.
I love when the things go like perfect.
I know. I was stressing about this so hard. I was like, oh, because I had tried to do this before and I couldn't find the right fittings, and then this is like that I didn't want to do because like it's not as easily reversible, and then like that part was already done, so I don't even feel bad. So it's great. It's just great. So update when things happen, right, Matt?
Right, Taylor.
What is this shit made of? Alright, Matt is doing some precision bending here. Look at that face of seriousness. Look at that serious face. Oh yeah, that should be good. So we'll test it and then we're gonna go. Okay, yeah, just you show them what we're doing. You're supposed to open your doors when you jack your Corvette up, but my car is not pretty, so I don't care.
So we'll go through there. I don't even know what I'm gonna hit or run into.
Nothing.
So we can do that. So do you want to bend it down
And then back? Yeah, I think that would be our best bet.
So we'll just keep the 90 going, bend it down, and then bend it over, and it'll just run along the floor.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of, because we have this.
Yes,
so,
right.
Where's your seat bracket?
It's over here.
So we can see it.
Right there.
Oh.
Yeah. So it just needs to stay on the out, like it can go inside of it. Oh, it's just gonna have to make a hard bend when it gets to the back there. Okay, we're gonna bend these and then show you guys what it looks like.
Well, if I just keep it the same height, so it's just at the same level as this, because this will sit on the seat bracket, correct?
Right. So as long as you're above that, you're good, and then that'll go all the way back. The only thing I'm worried about is the curve back here, because the outside of the seat bracket ends at the edge of that stud, so it's gonna have to either go. Well, I guess it can go through the slot, so we'll have to also make a bend at the end to send it out the side.
Yeah. So we'll do a full 180-degree bend. So it'll go straight down.
This new brake line stuff is really good. Like just the standard brake line you get at the auto parts stores is really nice for bending.
And then I didn't want to like measure that out.
Yeah. Okay. So you're right. Bring it up a little bit. So now we just need to mark back there and make like a 45 out the hole.
Yeah. Probably go up a little. We can do like super fancy. We'll just do it 45.
No one's gonna see it anyway.
Well, because what we could do is just curve it around, because here's where the seat bracket bolts in.
Yeah, the seat bracket is gonna be
and then 45 over.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have to do it 45, so it'll go back the other way.
Right.
So
we'll do 45 from.
Snake.
Yeah, it's gonna be a snake. Squad. All right, we've got both lines bent up. Matt is bending.
You're not supposed to really bend them like this, but...
You're not supposed to do this, but...
I mean, just very small adjustments I'm making. So you don't kink the line, that's why you have to use a proper
actual bender.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to get... It just needs like a tiny bit more clearance to make it under the seat. And that's even after raising the seat. That
might be just enough right there.
Yeah, we'll try it. Just leave it connected. Just pull it off to the side. You would think 7 out of 10 taking the seat. We had a little miscalculation. What happened was, ow, I just poked myself in the eye. I had the bubble line, specifically the bubble flare line, so we didn't have to do a bubble flare, but we put the shorter fitting on it, and what happens is it bottoms out in the master cylinder before the bubble flare actually seats all the way and crushes down, because they're kind of like a compression fit. So we now have to reflare it once we put one of these, the longer version, on.
I think it's going now.
Okay, handbrake is installed. I'm pretty much done up here. Matt is tightening up all the brake lines underneath, or may have just finished.
I just finished.
Just finished. We had a little fiasco. Had to end up using let me show you, like this braided line style line with a fitting. It's not the best, but the actual brake line fitting we're using started wanting to strip out the master, so there's just enough threads for the fitting for the braided line to work and such. We probably should have just used that in the first place, but that's okay. All right, now we just need to power bleed them, right?
Yep. You can go down, up, down.
Let me adjust it some.
Is it leaking any?
No, I checked that a minute ago. Let me check again. Fitting, of course.
At least everything's there, and all you have to do is like swap a master. Where is it leaking from?
Right around that fitting. So if you look, you see this fitting here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so this fitting right here, I'm probably blowing you guys' ears out. It's only in by one thread because the threads got kind of stripped by trying to get the hard line in. For some reason, it just chewed up the threads. So we put this fitting in, and it got one good thread of engagement, but apparently that is not enough, which we kind of figured. So it's leaking just a little bit out of here. So we're gonna have to swap this master, and then I'll get back with you guys tomorrow for some testing. Okay, day 2 of the hydro install. Technically day 1,000,000 of doing hydro. Got the hydro out again because the threads here stripped. You can see that it was leaking. I showed you guys that yesterday, being redundant. So I have a Willwood one and another eBay one. Now the problem is this thread, at least on the Willwood one, because we can find it, is 7/16-20. I already had to grind down the head of this one because it runs out of threads in here and bottoms out before it crushes the brake line and creates that compression fit. So this one works fine. This is actual just 3/16 standard thread, but this is obviously 7/16-20, which is a super weird, not very common thread size. As much as I'm bummed that it's not like done right now, I am stoked that I found a solution that'll allow me to keep my seat where it was, because I don't like it where I have it adjusted right now to fit the master under there. 2, it's in and it works. Like, we know that it works. We know it's going to work. You know, all we have to do is get the right fittings so that it doesn't leak at the master, but it's like all done. It's just rerunning lines, but it's cake at this point. So I'm stoked the Vette finally has a handbrake. Look forward to part like 3 of this series for the finishing, and we'll do some drifting. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. See you guys next time. Goodbye.